Over my PAW 213 Week 7 discussion board. And today I'll be talking about the 5 things the average American may not know about the concept of government bureaucracy. Bureaucrats create rules and regulations. They ultimately create rules and regulations needed to efficiently and consistently implement and enforce the laws and policies made by elected officials. So technically they do their research and they give real research, well-researched details so that rules can be implemented and regulations can be implemented into society. Examples of bureaucracies are federal government agencies, divisions, departments, and commissions. 4 general types of bureaucracies are cabinet departments, independent executive agencies, regulatory agencies, and government corporations. 4. The Congress has the power to create, organize, and disband all federal agencies. So basically, we're talking about the departments, the 4 general types of bureaucracies. And we're talking, those are all departments. We have the Homeland Security, we have the Department of Education, we have other departments like Social Security Administration, the Veterans Benefits Administration. Those are examples of bureaucracies that are included in those type of agencies or corporations or departments, which those are all things that the Congress has the power to create, organize, or disband. And then 5, independent regulatory agencies implement rules to protect the public interest. So this one I found really interesting to know, and I feel like most of society doesn't know what exactly what agencies exist when it comes to these type of departments. Like we have NASA that's a part of these departments, where we have like we said, we have federal agencies like Department of Education, things that are there to protect public interest, for funding and things like that. So I feel like those are things that most individuals do not know. 5 things that average American may not know about the American judicial system are like, 1, the American judicial system is made up by 3 main levels of courts: the district court, the circuit court, and the Supreme Court. Authorization is needed by the United States Constitution or federal statutes. That's something that's like not actually ever taken into consideration. I truly didn't see that like authorization is always needed, just by those 2 things. And then 3, diversity jurisdiction. Sorry, I'm a little sick. It allows for one state law claim in federal court. So what this means is that, for example, this allows for one state to file a lawsuit in a federal court when the defendant is located in a different state. We had there's an example of this is that states can, if like, for example, the main principle of this is that double jeopardy, which is one thing that doesn't allow for a defendant to be tried twice for the same crime, does not apply when it comes between, like when it's between the federal and the state government. So like if there in the state you were not convicted for a crime, the federal government in some cases may file a charge against you, and it doesn't and it doesn't go against double jeopardy or anything like that. Magistrate judges issue search warrants, arrest warrants, conduct initial hearings, set bail, decide certain motions, which is something else that I found out today when doing my research. Number 5, Supreme Court has the power to decide appeals. 5 things I know now that I did not know 7 weeks ago is how the bicameral Congress system works and the effect it has on bills. So with this concept is that when we were doing our presentation last time and I was doing my research on the bicameral Congress system, I realized that for example, there is 2 separate chambers that decide whether something gets reviewed, whether something gets whether something is even passed in the first place. So there's two things. So we have the House of Representatives, and we have the Congress. Both of these do different parts, and both of them ultimately decide whether a bill gets passed or not, and both of them have the last word in a way. And then number 2, how political parties contribute to a candidate's campaign is something else that I also found interesting. When doing my research, I found out that there's a certain limit of money that is given, and that's that amount of money that's able to go to a candidate's campaign. And I also found out that they are also give money for anything that benefits the campaign, like posters, stickers, flyers, anything that ultimately puts the candidate's name out there. The requirements needed to get one's name on the ballot. So I really found this one thing interesting about it is that there are so many requirements that are needed for an individual to be able to be in office or to even be able to run. And it was that the fact that you have to give financial disclosures, and you have to do a filing fee and signatures. All of that seem wow. There is a lot of steps that are needed in order for candidates to actually even be on the ballot. Number 4, how exactly congressional delegation occurs. So this one we just learned recently, and it truly had me shocked as to how congressional delegation occurs. And if a little review is that it occurs when the Congress grants authority to executive branches or agencies to put into effect certain aspects of a law. So basically, this all makes sense. Before, I feel there was so many misconceptions as to what happens here and why this bill didn't get passed. We all believe it's just there is a lot of Americans out there believe that the president has the final say. The president has this amount of power, but it's not true. We see that the congressional delegation, if there's a missing part of a certain bill, different interpretations may affect the bill and may somehow lead to a different outcome than what was expected. Number 5, the misconceptions regarding freedom of religion. So that was something that was mentioned earlier during this course, which really caught my eye, as in there are so many misconceptions that about certain things like freedom of speech, freedom of religion. People may believe that freedom of religion means that they can practice anything they would like, or that the religion can be um, can be um, can be within the state, can be practiced within the state, which meaning there's a certain religion that is entirely focused. Like, for example, we have individuals who believe that they can do human sacrifices, or like animal sacrifices, which are things that are not correct. And the last thing on my list as American, the thing that we just learned today, which is the American judicial system. And earlier in my slides, I mentioned that the American judicial system has its own like sorry, the judicial system, the American judicial system has three main levels of courts, which are the district court, the circuit courts, and the Supreme Court, which was something that really caught my eye just because I was going through this information, and it really all made sense as to like what controls this, what controls that, and who's the main leader, and that really was something that we don't often research ourselves, or we don't often hear about. So I would like to thank you all for watching,